Nino Merola, we last saw you in action at the Champions Trophy back in the summer. You had a pretty good run. Didn't make it to the trench. How's the preparation been for this year's British Open?
Yeah, it's been good. Been practicing pretty regularly for the last few months. Yeah, skipping the French might have been helpful. We'll wait and see. Lacking obviously a bit of actual match practice, but the French was a couple of months ago by this point, so I think most people are slightly rusty on that one. Yeah, feeling fit. Yeah, good.
Now you're at Bradley. Chris has gone away to help over the new court in Sydney. I guess he's been away before at Bristol or Bordeaux. What's it like there now at the club when you're having to lead things as well as do your practice?
Well, I think we're lucky in that the second person there, Alex Machin, is a very, very competent and surprisingly experienced pro for 21 years old. He is good at absolutely every element of running a club, and he's really stepped up to the mark. And we've had some lovely assistance from a young chap called Archie Campbell, who's just been kind of hanging around the club, hitting members and making himself available to kind of cover some opening hours for us, which has been really nice. And we're kind of prepping him in the hope that he might be useful to Chris out in Sydney. So in theory, in January, maybe February, depending on the opening times, Archie will go out to Sydney and spend 3 months there, maybe slightly longer, and hopefully be a benefit to them.
How's your practice been going for the British Open? How's the form coming along? How are you doing it?
It's a mixed bag. It's very hard to tell. I've just had my practice here at Queen's for the first time this year with Ben Taylor-Matthews, who was hitting the ball exceptionally well. In fact, he was hitting it so well he was quite happy to call it a day after about 25 minutes because he hadn't missed a ball yet. So it's a bit of a tester. You never know quite how to measure yourself up when you're hitting with a top four kind of player like that, who's hitting it really well. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good.
First round against Henry Henman. You played doubles with him last year. He's one of your members.
Yeah.
Given that you know his game so well and you're one of his coaches, how are you going to approach that match?
Well, one of the downsides of being his coach is that I've done my best to eliminate any massive areas of deficiency for him over the last few years. So unfortunately, there's no obvious areas of weakness to attack. I think everybody that's watched Henry knows that his best stuff's absolutely unbelievable. I'll have to hope that I can stick in there, be steady, ask enough questions, and over the course of 5-setter, come out on top. But there's no individual straightforward plan of attack against someone like that. He's a good player.
Should you be successful against Henry, you've got the number 8 seed in the second round, which is the draw that all first round players.
So everyone hopes for, yeah.
What kind of an opportunity does that potentially present to go up against someone like Mathieu?
Well, I mean, I've done my best to avoid thinking about it, truth be told, because I mean, up until 2 days ago, I didn't even know who I had in the first round. Try not to look too deep into the draw, but obviously, number 8 seed is number 8 seed, and last year I ran into Camden, that tends to put a bit of a stopper on your tournament. So you hope these kind of opportunities, and statistically, you're only going to run into number 8 if you're lucky, once every couple of years in a major. So I hope that if I get there, I can give him a good match. But Matthew's a very experienced player. He's played for a very long time to a very good standard. So we'll have to just wait and see. One match at a time, though. I really can't look past tomorrow.
In doubles, you've partnered up with Ben Matthews, and you've got yourself a seed. So you've got to buy through to the quarterfinals, having had to go through qualifying last year.
Yep.
Such a different way to approach the tournament compared to last year.
Yes. I mean, as you've kind of pointed out, I don't really have an experience in being seeded through rounds like that. Last year was really enjoyable, and actually I think for me and Henry, who had played a bit together at club level, but never kind of entered a major tournament before, I think the 2 matches we played before we ran into one of the big boys last year, Cam and Tim last year, we played I think it was Neil McKenzie and Adam Dolman in the qualifiers, and that really helped us to try and find our feet. And we had a good match there, really enjoyable match there. And then we were able to carry that form through. We'd already played a match on the court together. I think we played John Woods, Casey and Adam Player. We were able to come out a bit hotter than those two because we'd had that extra match. So it will be interesting to see how it feels being not only the favourites in that match in theory when me and Ben played together, on Friday I think it is, But to be almost going in, not cold, because we've both played singles, but cold as far as doubles goes, whereas our opposition, whoever they might be, going to have played at least one match and won already by that point. So.
And again, you're seeded again in the same half of the draw as Tim. Are you looking forward to a potential rematch on there when you did manage to get set off the last time round?
Of course. We always look forward to playing top guys, and if you want to win something, you've got to beat everybody. But Cam and Tim are pretty formidable pair. But there's good pairs everywhere in the draw. That's what happens. It's a strong draw.
Looking ahead to the rest of the season, you had a really good season last year. We won the Cat A's and the Super League MVP. What's your targets going into the next season?
Truth be told, my main focus is on trying to improve my game. I'd really like to see results in tournaments, but as has been demonstrated by my previous 5 years worth of play, they're not linear. In theory, you work hard and you try and change things. I think that's really important, and you try and make continuous improvements, and then hopefully at some point enough things click together that you see a jump in handicap, in results, in ranking eventually. But I think if you get too bogged down in your position, whether that's ranking or handicap or expectations, and stop focusing on getting better at tennis, then I think that can be a pretty nasty way to get unstuck. Actually, I think it heaps quite a lot of pressure on you, and it doesn't really give you a lot of direction. So I'm trying to change certain things about my game, trying to improve certain aspects, understand more about certain parts of the game, and hopefully that will once again come together and help me move on to the next level.
Are there any particular tournaments that you're targeting, or is it?
Well, I'm planning on going to the US Open. I won't be going to the Australian Open. So once again, that'll depend on the draw, who I get, even the size of the draw. Qualifying. Last year the US Open was a immensely strong draw. So yeah, you can't look too far forward. You just hope that if you do the work and you get better at tennis, that when the opportunities come along, you can take them. So that's where I'll be focusing. I don't have anything particularly that I'm angling towards.
All right, Nino, Merola, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ben.